Hi guys, welcome to my channel. We're going to be putting together a YouTube custom nameplate using Shapr3D. Follow along! All right, everybody, let's go ahead and jump right in. So here we're going to go ahead and open up the Shapr3D program. I'm using my iPad to put this together today, and here you can see all of my folders. I have a lot of folders. We're going to go ahead and skip this part, go right to my name tags and our YouTube folder, and we're going to start a new one. So this one was an Etsy order, and I'm super excited to put this together for them. I'm always excited to put together a new piece for a customer. Um, Really simple. I have a formula that I kind of follow. We're going to go ahead and add text, and in order to do that, we're going to start with a sketch. Boop. Add text. I like to use, when I'm doing my signs, my YouTube signs use impact. I use high impact, I think is what it's called. No, just impact. And I have a font height, they call it a capital height. I call it a font size of 50 millimeters. I'm gonna get rid of that random dot that got put there. Okay, so for this, it's as easy as typing out whatever it is that they want you to say. I do put a space in between each one, so for this one it's going to be F. I need to make sure I've got the right. Okay, we're going to do flex work. We're going to do a space here, and same thing, a space in between each. Oops, we don't want any capitals. It likes to autocorrect while I'm trying to do this, and it kind of drives me crazy. Shapr, if you're listening. Flexworks Studios. All right, cool. So I can already tell that I will probably end up putting the YouTube icon on the bottom right there to level out the fact that Flexwork is longer than Studios. So that's it. We're going to hit continue, and we're going to zoom out a little bit. Now, with this in mind, how I said that I use 50 millimeters, this is just the standard for me. This is the formula that works. It fits on my my print plate. I use the Bambu A1 or I use the Bambu X1, which I like to keep within a 225 millimeter to 225 millimeter workspace. So at 50 millimeters for impact, that gives me that works for this formula. So now we're going to go ahead and jump into offset edge chain. You have options here. You can do offset chain or you can do offset single. I like to do chain. And what we're going to do here is we are going to offset each letter at 2 millimeters. I'm going to stop it there because what tends to happen sometimes is I might like grab it at an incorrect spot and then I can't really like do a quick go back, so then it erases everything. So we're going to go ahead and stop there and we're going to restart down here with Studios. Offset edge. See, just like that. So I accidentally clicked the wrong spot, so we got to start it over again. It's very sensitive with the pencil. You want to make sure that you've grabbed it just right, or it might skip it. Like that. Click it again. I'm pretty sure I grabbed the arrow there, buddy. Okay, there we go. Everything is offset 2 millimeters. So now I'm going to go up here to the magnet right here, and I'm going to click these guys on. So I'm going to exit Sketch now, and you can see that I've got all of my font with the E broke, but we can fix that. We're just going to draw a line. Just like that. Connect it. So then we exit Sketch again, you'll see that everything is highlighted because all of those pieces are ready to go. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and grab our pieces and we're going to move them. This is why I like to have the snap tool on, because it's going to give me like a little bit less flexibility and a little bit more formula. We just grab each of these and shift it over. Just like so. Okay. Now my personal favorite part is the trimming part because it becomes a whole block. It becomes a sign. So now we've got our trim tool right here. We're going to go back into, so let me do that again. So here everything is still highlighted. We're not in Sketch right now. So we're going to go back here, hit Sketch, and if you go to our items section over here, you'll see I only have one sketch. You see how it highlights in orange when I hover over it? That's our sketch. That's what we're working in. So we're going to close that and we're going to go to trim. Now within trim, this is where we get to turn it into the blocky product that is going to 3D print once we extrude it. There we go. Flex work is ready to be extruded as a single block. So now with my designs, I'm always kind of like questionable about how I want to do the whole parts. So like the E has this part here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to offset it. I'm going to offset this to 2 because I'm gonna want this to have the gap when I print it. We're going to do the same thing for the O. Bring it out to 2 millimeters. And you'll see what happens with that once I extrude it. So now if we exit Sketch, you can see that we've got an entire block ready to go. I'm actually going to get rid of this little line here. So let's go back into our sketch. We're going to trim this piece. There we go. Huzzah. Okay, cool. So now we're going to just really quickly do the same thing for the Studios part. Put flex work on top of Studios, do a little bit more trimming, and then we're going to import our YouTube sign. Stick with me. Now that we have Flexwork and Studios pretty much ready for 3D printing, we're going to put these two pieces on top of each other. We need to sketch it, exit sketching again, and then I'm going to put Flexwork right on top of Studios. You want to make sure that you're grabbing all of the pieces that are going to print. We're going to move it down so that this ends up creating one happy block. I'm actually going to turn off the magnetic snap here. I don't like where it's giving me, okay, there we go. So now I have a lot more movement here because I want to just barely go over the S there because it is a capital S, and it's interfering with where the W, the D, and the I need to sit on top of. But there we go. I'm really happy with that. That looks great. So now we're going to go back into Sketch. We're going to trim these pieces now. And then the W. There we go. Now, if I exit sketching, this should be all one pretty block. There we go. See? So now I do want to go back and remind yourself, because I always have to, I'll bring it into Bambu Studios and I go to paint it and I did something incorrectly. So we're going to go back into our sketch real quick because we don't want to forget to offset, whoopsie, offset the D here. Why is it doing that? I'm clicking. Got it highlighted. And we're going to bring this out to 2. There we go. And then the O as well. Great. That looks fancy. I'm not in love with this teeny tiny little K thing that's got going on over here. So let's go ahead and trim this here. Trim that. And I'm actually going to trim all of this because I like to work with really simple, clean lines. There we go. Now that that's all been cleaned up, you can see here Flexwork Studios. So this is where you get to kind of be fun and creative with it a little bit. Where am I going to put the YouTube sign? Whenever I get an Etsy order, I always try to give them 2 to 3 different designs that they can choose from. With this signage and the way that it's set up, I'm gonna put it on the bottom right here. So let's go ahead and we're gonna go to add right here in the corner on the left side, and I'm gonna actually add a file. There's a few things that you can add. This is where I add my reference images or my file itself. So I'm gonna go into file and I already have the YouTube icon sketched out. So I go to files and here it is, YouTube icon shaper. So now that's going to import it, but if you see here, it's going to import it as another sketch, a sketch 1, and it brought in my image as well, my reference image. So we're going to close this, which is nice. So there are 2 ways to do this, but I am working on an iPad. So when you start this, you could bring in the YouTube symbol first and then work the letters into the sketch itself. But that tends to bog down the iPad because it doesn't have a super huge processor. So what I like to do is I take this now and I can select it because it's its own sketch and it's not going to interfere with the sketch that's behind it. And we're going to move it and we're going to place it. Bring it over here. We're going to scale it because it's, I've got my 50mm sizing words here and I want to make sure that the YouTube sign is the same as that, as the formula that we have in place. So we're going to bring this up a little bit. We're going to move it. Yeah. Now, honestly, the 2 designs that I'm gonna give him, it's gonna be a flat YouTube sign and then it's gonna be a crooked one because it's just because of the way that this is set up, that would work the best for this sign. So then we want to make sure we're gonna go across here and make sure that we are lined up with the bottom. So S all the way across. Right now we've got a lot of O's and S's on the bottom, and O, S, even D, and the U. There's a lot of curved letters. Curved letters tend to hang a little bit lower than like flat letters, like the I, and even the flat part of the D is hanging higher than the curved part. But because there are so many curved letters, like this is a curve and this is a curve and this is a curve, it's gonna fit really nicely regardless of the D and the I. So this is still a little bit large, but I do want it to meet. I'm gonna bring it down just 0.9 ish. So then we gotta move it again. Oops. We gotta move it. Make sure here. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then we can't really trim it at this point because it is two different sketches, but that's okay because when we extrude it, you can extrude each individual piece. So here we're going to do that right now. Let's go ahead and extrude this piece so that you guys can see it, and then I will paint this in Bambu Studios. Let's go ahead and extrude this. So to extrude, we're going to want to grab these guys. All of this stuff. We're going to grab it all. Everything that's going to be printed, grab it all. Even the YouTube side. I'm not in love with that though. Let's fix that first. I'm gonna go to sketch and we need to highlight which sketch we're gonna be in. Okay, there we go. So I want this to come down just a little bit because I do want it to be a part of, and we're talking millimeters here. So like, it doesn't look any different, but it's gonna be a lot stronger this way. As many points of contact as you can get makes your piece stronger. So we're gonna do that again. Grab all our pieces. Okay, how did I skip the I? Silly. All right, let's go ahead and drop this down. I'm going to extrude this negative, not positive. And I'll show you why in just a second. Okay, so now we're gonna go and the sketches are hidden. You can see that the eyeball has been slashed out. Let's go ahead and view that sketch. So now you can see here, our YouTube sign is up and happy, and we're gonna do 2.5. Now we're gonna do 2.5 positive. Positive. And this cute little icon right here gives you some options. Union, new body, subtract, or intersect. We want to do a new body. So now if we go over to our items, you'll see body 1. Let me go ahead and highlight that for you. Body 1, and then body 2. Now the reason why I do that is because when I take this over to Bambu Studio for painting, it is so much easier. All I have to do is use the bucket tool and paint that part. So that's why I do that. Now let's go ahead and hide the YouTube sketch, and we're gonna open up the font sketch. We're gonna deselect that. Now we do the same thing. We grab all of these letters, and we're gonna extrude them. Let's move that out of the way. 2.5. New body. Now, if we go over here, we have a body for every letter. Every letter has got its own part, essentially. We're going to hide the rest of that sketch because we don't need to see that. And there we go. Fluxworks Studios, your sign is almost ready. Let's shoot over to Bambu Studios for painting. Here's our file in Bambu Studio. We're going to go to the fill bucket, edge detection, and then we're going to shoot all the way over to fill angle at 90. Zoom in here a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and paint each individual letter, which is easy enough. We just have to click on the letter with the color that we want because we've already separated this into parts in our CAD file. There we go. Red and white, just like YouTube. Now, alternatively, I'm going to show you another way to do this. We're going to switch this to white. And then our second color is going to be red. Now again, because we've already done the parts on their own bodies, all we have to do is click the main body to be red and all the lettering will be white. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned a lot using the Shapr3D program. We will be doing some more design tutorials in the future using the same program. Stay tuned for more.